Working on these things is not very easy whatsoever. Alright, got it in there, so now I just got to get this into this right here, which is going to be probably the most pain in the butt out of the whole ordeal. Alright, so what I want to do is trying to get this to hook. Damn it. What you want to do, you want to try to get the hook onto this, like I said, so. Bear with me on this, so my hand's going to be in the way. There. It just hooks it just like that. Yeah. I try to make it look harder, is it? I try to make it look harder by using this thing here, so. But anyway, so now that's back on there. We can, I can go ahead and put this other piece back on here. This main cover right here. So, now drop the camera down. Back off. Put this back onto the place and put the screws back in so that way it mounts this motor back. So on the old part. Alright, then I got that piece back on there, but looks like I'm going to have to shrink that outside down a little bit more so I can try to fit around that thing. That piece right there. It's holding the motor down to the motor frame itself. So it's going to be a little bit of a tricky parts, but I'll try to figure something out. Right now I'm working on this section here, trying to get this off. And I first have to remove this piece here. There's like 2 screws it's holding. There's like 3 screws that's holding it. 2 of them right there, and there's 1 right there. You can see it's still there. So, and for this piece right here, there's this piece right here, which has this little plastic piece right here, and then the screw on 1 screw on the other side, and it's connected to a shaft. Well, there's a piece right here, which I'm working on right now, which I gotta remove the set screw that's in here so I can get this loose. And that controls that piece right there, which the spring's attached to, which goes to the clamp that clamps onto the records. So I gotta undo that set screw right there, and I should be able to hopefully get this thing off. Okay, so far I was not able to get this thing loose at all, but I was able to get this right here loose. So, and I gotta track down a piece that used to hold on to this right here, which fits in this little gap right here that looks like a fuse holder. Now that's got to hold on to this spring, which operates this clamp that holds the clamp like this, that pulls it in. So I think it fell somewhere in the mechanism, but I'll have to take a look and see what I can find. If not, I made it fell down there somewhere. So I'll have to find it. But anyway, I cleaned up the washers and the keys here with the with this stuff right here, natural jelly from Loctite. I even cleaned this pin up here. There's a couple of dings I gotta remove a little bit. So, but I got some of the rust off of it anyway. So looks pretty good. Ready to go back on as soon as I clean those spots up real quick. Which I think I just might hit it with sandpaper so I can smooth it out. Then I'll put that back in here. Then once I find that pin for this, I'll be able to put this spring back on, so the spring is too good. So I'll have to do something about that. After a little bit of weight from the PB blaster that I sprayed on it that's over here, I managed to finally get this piece out of here loose. And I found that other piece that I was talking about is right here. This is that little piece that's got to fit in that pocket. It's got that little ring right there in the middle. That's got to hold on to that spring right there. That holds on the back side of this. So, but I finally got that loose. So, you see it's quite rusty in there. Even rusty in there as well. the PV blaster really does help trying to clean this stuff out, trying to get it loose. Yeah. You see, I'm just cleaning it up with a Q-tip, and see, it's pretty nasty. This one right here, I actually sprayed it with the PV blaster and cleaned the shaft on this here, including the holes, so I can get to it. So I'm going to be doing the same thing to this thing here, trying to clean this thing up. Now I'm going to clean this pin out, this pin right here as well. I'm going to clean this thing up so that way it's easier to remove and not be stuck in there like it was. So, but that's where I'm at so far of getting this thing completely apart for the most part. So far it seems to be coming around pretty nicely. I'm not sure if I'm going to take this entire piece of thing apart, but I'm going to probably try. Maybe I can actually get to this shaft right here and maybe clean it, but I don't know if I want to go that far or not, because it'd be nice to actually have a extra pair of hands and also as you can see, a better workbench than what I got right here. This is not good enough for me, so I definitely need an extra hand and more room to do this, to actually take this thing completely apart. But I'm going to do the best I can. With the jelly, I actually managed to clean this up and clean the top of this up a bit, as you can see. Not as rusty. So, but I'm going to do what I can. See if I can get this stuff loose. And it's sad that this thing here is pretty stiff in itself, but I think it might be because of all the gears and springs that are attached. So, makes it really hard to turn by hand. I might do something about this as well. Who knows? But I'll think about it. Okay, I got that piece back in there, all nice and clean and all. So that's looking just as shiny as the other piece that's right here. So, yeah. So since I got that back on there right now, I'm probably gonna call it a night. So I'm gonna most likely put some of these pieces back together so that way I don't forget on how this entire thing goes back together again, because if I leave it for too long, I'll most likely forget. And so, and I got a bunch of other things I gotta try to do as well. And I would do some more things, but unfortunately for this weekend, it is very cold up here in Michigan right now. Getting tonight's at lowest. I'm thinking tonight is supposed to be as low as 2, so it's getting pretty cold up here. So I will get on to more of this another night. See ya. Okay, just here's a little bit of an update for its main control center. You might notice there's a lot of freaking white marks that's all over this thing right now. But I took care of most of the rust, and that white stuff is actually caused by the rust dissolver that's right there. I guess after a while it tends to leave like a white stain on the surface, I guess, as it's eating the rust. I'm not too sure exactly if this is a good thing or not, but I'm not sure. Because it says in the instructions that you're supposed to scrape away any loose rust that's on there. Then once you put the solution on, leave it on for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then rinse it off with fresh water. And if any rust remains, like in heavy spots, you repeat. So, you see, I just take the stuff in, put it on the tip of my toothbrush here, which I bought a set of cheap stuff, so I don't have to worry about brushing my teeth with this. I just use this to either clean like keyboards or junk like this. I don't use it for my teeth, so. Because toothbrushes are basically like the best thing to use when it comes to cleaning things like keyboards and stuff. And I decided to use that rust there on this. And I just kind of go around on the outer surface, just kind of switch it around. So, and usually I just dip it in some water, try to rinse it off, and then try to wipe it off with a rag. So, but anyway, it actually looks a whole lot better than what it did. So, I'm not too sure if there's a way to replace details like this at all. I've seen a lot of people actually do it when they do restorations. I'm not too sure exactly how they do that without having to have it printed on like a white label or something like that. Then you basically glue it to the frame, so that way you know what everything is, part number and all that junk. You even know details like that's completely disappeared. So you can see there's a couple numbers on here that's smudged out. I can't even tell you exactly what the hell they are. Like this one looks like a 24, but it's hard to tell. That could be like a D, code D or something. I don't know. But it's just so distorted, I can't even tell what it is. But if I ever figure out how that is done, then I might try to do it with this. Get everything replaced, so that way I know what's on there. But anyway. I used up some of that little bit of rust stuff on this bar right here that the tone arm assembly's got a write on. As you can see that little bar, this is where the whole entire unit's got a write on. So basically, when this thing switches from like A side to B side of your 45s, or for this case LPs, this entire unit would basically slide. See if I can actually assemble it just a little bit. You can see it slides on that bar, and it's got a little bit of extra bar on this side here. And you can only do this in the middle of its engagement. When you turn this main shaft just enough for the springed levers to get into place, then you'll be able to take this and move it across back and forth like I can here, but not all the way. So, because since I turned it just a little bit too much, I'm pretty much stuck in one spot, and it's kind of hard to turn this thing back. So, but anyway, and I think it's got to be due to the tension on the springs of these here and on this cam, so it makes it really hard to turn. So, I thought about going ahead and trying to take that off, but I'm not too sure on how much of a pain in the butt that would be, since there's a ton of freaking springs probably underneath this entire unit, which the only way to get this entire unit off the rail system here, I'll have to probably remove this bracket that's attached. It's got 3 screws. These 2 up here, and then it's got this one down here, which is holding this harness for these wires. It's all going to all these switches. This switch here that tells the mechanism to go back or forth, or this thing here to engage, and another one to engage, and then another one that's up here to tell it's going to be in play mode or scan mode. Nice.